Two words that I often hear confused these days are investment and sacrifice. We live in a hustle culture where there's a huge focus on success and performance, and people often use sacrifice in terms of their work or the foods that they don't eat or the time they spend in the gym or working out. These are not sacrifices, these are investments. Investments are things that you give up now in order to get something later on. It's an exchange, a trade where you hope to eventually benefit. A sacrifice is not an exchange. A sacrifice is when you give up something knowing that you won't receive anything in return. There aren't a lot of areas in our lives these days where we make real sacrifices. You may see people in healthy relationships sacrifice, but even in relationships, we're often making investments. You know, one of the areas that I've found is a great example of sacrifice in my own life is meditation. You see, meditation is not an investment. It's not a mental exercise. It's not a technique for lowering anxiety. Zen meditation is literally doing nothing, sitting, existing. This is why it's so hard for many of us. We struggle to give up our time and not get something back in return. I found that viewing meditation as a sacrifice to my spirit, or to my inner friend as Rumi liked to call it, helps me to reframe my intentions around meditation. Like any healthy relationship, the relationship between the ego and spirit must include sacrifice. And meditation is a great way for the ego to honor and show love for the spirit. Aaron's ego gets nothing out of meditation. While meditating, Aaron sits in the back seat. He sacrifices his desire to act, to think, to remember, and he simply sits. Most of us live very active, ego-driven lives, and often it's our spirit that's in the back seat. Whether you meditate or not, I want to encourage you to be mindful of ways that you can build a healthy relationship between your spirit and your ego, and it's going to require sacrifice.